Hi guys, this is Jenny from Paparazzi and I welcome you to yet another episode of Paper Quilling where we'll learn how to roll loose coils. In the last episode, we have learned how to roll tight coils. We have used the slotted quilling tool and a toothpick and a needle to roll tight coils. In this episode, we will learn how to roll loose coils. These are a couple of examples of loose coils. You can see the difference between the two, that the hard coils are tightly wound and the loose coils are not. To roll the loose coils, we would need the same tools as the slotted quilling tool, a pair of tweezers and glue. I'll also tell you another tool. I'll introduce you to another tool which we will need to make loose coils. But for now, let's roll a couple of loose coils just to get you started. Okay. So you would start off rolling the strip just as you would for rolling a tight coil. The technique here, okay, this is the best time to tell you a little tip about rolling. There are two ways of rolling. I have already covered that in my earlier episode, but let me also do a recap on that. So after you insert, there are two ways of rolling. One is towards you, the other way is away from your body. Those are used to rolling it towards your body, that is inside, and you find it comfortable. By all means, please roll it that way. But personally, I find this slow, relatively slow. I can roll it this way, but then it needs constant lifting up of my hand. And sometimes, the fingers here, the left hand side, get clumsier and I lose the shape. So the other way, and the way I'm comfortable doing is to roll it away from my body. I really don't know the technique, but I find this one easier to roll. Okay, that's a bit about rolling. So if we are rolling a tight coil, we would stop here. We would glue this edge and stick it, right? But now, while rolling a loose coil, we would stop here. Instead of gluing it down, as a next step, we would take the tool out of the slot of the coil, sorry, and then we would set the coil on the surface and let it open. So you see, the minute you set it on the surface, it started to open up from the center out. Okay, as it opens up, I will roll another coil. Okay, so it's a similar way again. I will show you why I'm going for another strip. Okay, so I'll set it down and let it open. So now you see that the shapes are different. I mean, the sizes are different. The sizes of these two coils are not the same. This is smaller than this one. There could be many reasons, but two reasons I'll mention. One, this strip is a little thicker than this one. So the thicker the paper strip, the wider it will open. Okay, the circle is bigger, the coil is bigger. This strip is thinner than this one, so that is the extent of which it will open up. Okay, and more importantly, even if you take the same thickness or the paper strip which has the same thickness, there is no guarantee that the size after the coil opens up will be the same. For example, I had rolled this earlier. It's the same paper strip, the same thickness. You see that this coil has opened up much wider than this one. Again, there is a reason to it. One is the amount of pressure you apply when you're rolling. If you are if you are holding the coil loose, the paper doesn't fold so much that it is tightly wound when you let it open up. So that's what the case that's what has been the case with this coil. I did not apply a lot of pressure. I did not wind it tightly enough for it to open up like this. So instead it has opened up more freely. Okay, so what will you do if you want the same uniform circular shaped coils? That's where we have to use, that's where this particular tool comes handy. This is called the Quilling template board. As you can see, it's got a lot of templates on it, the circular templates, the rectangles, the triangles, the squares, the teardrops, the heart shapes. So you see that the outer circles are the same size, the 4 circles here. And then these 3 are the same size. These 4 are the same size. All these are of one size and these of one size. So if we use a template like this, all your coils are going to be of the same size. Now let's try this template board once. Again, I will start by rolling a strip. This time I'll do it quicker. And now pick one template. Okay, for this time I'm going to use this one. Place the coil in the center of the slot and let it open. Let's roll another one. I'll pick another color of different thickness. Why do we want uniform shapes? It's not necessary that we want uniform shapes in all of the projects, but if you need uniform shapes, you need to have a template. So this strip is a little thicker than the earlier one, but because we are going to use the same slot as the earlier one, the shape will be the same. The size will be the same. See? So now another technique on how to lift it up. You can use your fingers to lift it up like that, but not always is it easy to pick it out of the slot, because the slot is, I think, 3 mm deep. I'm using 4 mm strip here, so it is easier to pick it up with fingers. But if it's a 2 mm strip, it goes inside the slot and your fingers will be too thick to get hold of the strip and pick it out without spoiling the shape. So it's easier if you use a pair of tweezers. And when you're picking it up, don't go for the center. Pick it up from the edges, from the sides. And again, not anywhere on the sides, but the spot where the strip has ended, the one edge of the strip. So you see here, this is the strip edge. So I would pick it up from there so that the coil does not fray from the other side. The circular shape is intact. And I will not just pick it up on the edge just by the last part of the strip, but I will get hold of 3-4 coils together like that. So it gives the coil the strength to stay intact, stay in shape, like so. See, I'm holding it close to the edge and I have gathered 4 or 5 coils together, and that's how I pick it up from the slot. Now, after you have securely picked it up without ruining the shape of it, transfer the coil into your free hand, hold it tightly, not too tight, but just securely, then let go of the tweezers, and you would stick it down like you have for the tight coils. Now, because these are already loose, I would still use the tweezers to gently press down the glued edge, like so, just for long enough for the edge to stick securely. There, that's one coil. That's one loose coil. Let's see if the shape is the same as the other one. So I would pick it up from the edge, transfer it into my free hand, and then glue it down. Okay. So that's the use of the template board. You see that? They are both of the same size. Why do we need uniform shapes? Not necessarily. There's no need for the shapes to be uniform. For some projects, you may need a bigger loose coil, so you'd use this circular slot here. And at the same time, you might need the smallest, so you'll use these. So it suited up according to your project. Yeah, for these loose coils, I will tell you, I'll teach you 3 different shapes. Okay. With hard coils, with tight coils, you cannot shape them into too many shapes because they are tightly wound. It's too difficult to press them into any other shape than circle. It is with much effort you might shape it into teardrop, but any other shape would be very difficult. So a loose coil is not that difficult to bend or shape them into different forms. Let's start off with 3 shapes. There are many more shapes that you can use, but I'll show you 3 different shapes. So after you have rolled the coil and after you have glued it down, I will press it in the center gently. Okay, like that. And I will go to this edge and press it hard on this side, and again the same I'll do on the other side. You see that? That's the shape of a diamond. It is also called as marquee. This is one shape. Okay. And the second shape would be a teardrop shape. So the teardrop is something like this. So it's narrow on one side and circular on the other side. So how do you do it? You can just start pressing it on one side. There's your teardrop. But what I would suggest is I'll show you. Like you can just start off like this and make it into a teardrop shape, but then I don't like the center like this. The shape of it could be a little better. So what you would do is press it down, and before pressing it down, drag the center to one side, pull it all to one side. Okay, so you see the graduation of the coils, right? It's smaller in the center, and as it goes to the edge, it becomes larger. So grab all the coils to one edge and then start pressing it towards the other edge. See the difference? The center is much more defined in this one, right? So all you have to do is grab the whole center to one side. Don't press on this side, but press nicely on the other side. So that's one. Another shape called teardrop. Okay. Moving on to the third shape. We will start off with pressing down at the center again. Make it into a marquee shape, as in again press on the other sides, both sides. And now there's a twist, like you have to bend the coil. Okay, I haven't glued it on this edge. Let me quickly do that. Okay, so this is a diamond shape, the marquee. Now I hold the edges like this, and then on one side I go up, on one side I go up, on the other side I go down. like bringing it into a sort of a S shape. Do you see that? So the left hand is going down, it's pressing down. My right hand is going up, pressing one side of the coil up. You see that? That's a beautiful shape. This is called a slug shape, so because it looks like a slug. That's one shape. So these are basically 3 shapes, and you can play around with these shapes like however you want. For example, the teardrop. Again, I'll show you another variation to teardrop. This is a straight teardrop. What you can do with this is you can go a little down, bend the shape a little down, press it more on one side, and make it a circular teardrop. A circular teardrop. All right. So there are different shapes you can make with these loose coils. The loose coils, like I said, I find the loose coils of more use in my projects. Try different shapes, come up with your own shapes. There are many other shapes, like you can also, once you make a loose coil, you can shape them into any desired shape. You can make 2 teardrops like this, and then you can stick them. Okay, let me stick and show it to you. Okay, you can stick them together and make them into a heart shape like that. That's a beautiful heart shape. All right. And these slugs can be beautiful leaves to a flower. So can the diamond shapes be. So be creative with the shapes, play around, make lots of coils, get mastery over how to roll uniform shaped loose coils using the template board. Try several sizes, shape them into different kinds of forms, and use them in your designs, and make every design as unique and as creative as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would like to know if you have any questions. I will try to answer them. And for the earlier episode of how to roll tight coils, I have provided the link in my description. Please go back and check on how to roll tight coils. Yes, if you like this video, like it and share it, and I'll definitely look forward for your comments. And if you have any doubts, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to clarify them for you.